Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm the host of today's episode. And today on the show, I have Mary McKeown-Christie, CMO of Austin, Texas Musicians, as my guest. We're going to be learning about her business, her journey in business, best practices that she's learned, and challenges that she's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to operate a business. Welcome, Mary. So great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, before we dive into all things business, though, I'd love to give a little backstory on you with our audience. And again, thank you for being here. So feel free to share about yourself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're here in Austin. My husband and I moved here about 16 years ago during the Great Recession. I'm originally from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and I went to school in University of California in Santa Barbara, where I met my husband. We were there for about 18 years. That also happens to be a really strong technical hub, really strong tech hub. They used to call it Silicon Beach because it was a very strong engineering school at UCSB. So I'm the first in my family to go to college, and I was working full time to put myself through. So I worked for technology companies while I was going to school. Until my senior year, where I was able to finally just go to school, which is great. But I worked for defense contractors, nanotechnology, software, you name it. Very tech. And in fact, my first computer was the little tiny little Apple computer, the 8080 one. That's crazy. That's what happens when you get old, people. So anyway, I come from tech and primarily B2B, and I learned really quickly marketing is the key to driving business. I also was pulled into a nonprofit in Santa Barbara to help them that with regard to the 4th of July holiday. The city council had pretty much canceled it across the board, and a young attorney was like, that's not okay. We need to fix this. And it was basically because the kids were out of control, the college kids were out of control on the beach, and they just didn't want to deal with it. So this guy got involved, pulled it off. And when I say he pulled it off, I mean, he got the entire city behind him, and he got the radio station syncing the music to the fireworks. So you could be anywhere on the Santa Barbara beachfront, which, if you understand Santa Barbara, is very killy. They call it the American Riviera. And you could just be in your car and listening to it and watching it over the harbor. It was beautiful. So I wrote him a letter. He called me back, said I'd love to get some help. And 3 years later, I was the executive director. So
Wow.
I was 22 years old, on television lobbying city council for a budget. We were managing the entire thing. I was managing the entire city budget. And by the way, it wasn't just fireworks. It was a parade. It was a veterans parade. It was a carnival, all kinds of stuff. We completely transformed it. It's still there today, which is amazing. But I fell in love with marketing and PR, and I was really good at it. And I'm like, why am I studying law? I was in pre-law. Basically, I was going to go to UCLA. So I stayed in Santa Barbara. I focused my efforts and my talents on tech, B2B marketing. Very successful. Was able to grow one of the software companies there $62 million in 2 years, which is pretty good. I was coming out of college. It was pretty good. And really enjoyed it. Really love it. But took a break from cause marketing, essentially, nonprofit marketing. And then we really relocated to Austin. And my dentist, Dr. Shane Mott, who we love very much, his practice is Authentic Smiles. He called me one day and said, so, I love music, right? His studio, or his dental studio, had a piano in the lobby and music posters on the walls and signed guitars on the walls. This was not a normal dentist office, which I loved. And he said, well, we want to do a benefit for the Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. I have an idea. I want to do the holiday ham jam album. So this guy pulls together all these musicians around Austin, and then he's like, I need help pulling off an event. So stupid me says, okay, sure. He's such a great guy. Well, what happens is we wind up at Antone's, one of the most famous clubs in the country. I wind up working with Wendy Colonna, who's an amazing musician, Northwestern graduate, so bright, so beautiful, just a good person. We pulled off something that I think it was 6 weeks that most people can't pull off in 6 months. And they walked away with $65,000 that night. I'm like, that's pretty good. Okay, yay. But I didn't know who Ham was. I just moved here. What are you talking about, Ham? What's going on? What's happening? What Sims? And then the more I dug into it, I was like, this is an amazing movie. This is amazing. Well, fast forward, and I get pulled into more tech marketing and the stuff that I've been doing normally as a fractional chief marketing officer. And now that I'm middle aged, I'm a woman of a certain age, as they say here in the South. Um, I just really wanted to get back to cause of marketing. It's my love. I really like helping people. I like affecting change in a positive way. I like making sure that the things that should be fixed get fixed, and that the people, particularly in the creative community, are allowed to do what they can do because we all, it's so beautiful and we all benefit from it. And so in October or September, I think I reached out to Patrick Butchka, Butcha. I don't know if I ever pronounce it properly. I should know that by now. But I reached out to him and said, hey, do you need any help? And he said, yes, absolutely. And then the more I dug into what he's been doing in his group for the last 7 years and the success that they've had with advocacy here, we were putting together a pretty cool program to really change it up here.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing your story, especially how you went from tech to pre-law to, now marketing in the music industry.
Happening. And I don't, I'm very honest. Hey, people will rattle off names and I'm looking at like deer in the headlights because I don't have that knowledge base. I love music and I love supporting musicians, but I don't have that inherent knowledge. I'm not a musician. I'm dyslexic. So I'm dyscalculia really is what I suffer from, or I flip numbers around, but the same
Mm,
applies for symbolic logic, which they
mhm.
finally figured out when I was a junior in college. Yeah. So reading music is really tough for me because my brain flips it all over the place. But I know how to appreciate it, and if I can do my part, which is supporting them to make sure that they can do their part, then I know I've done something.
That's incredible. And that's what so many artists need. They need that. So
Mm.
I'm really excited to dive into this conversation. So now looking at the company and now when was it when was or Austin, Texas Musicians, was it founded?
So it started off as a Facebook group. Nikia Naroso was a candidate for The Voice back in 2008. He's a very popular local musician, and I believe he's also a DJ as well. And he started a group because he needed to reach out for help. I need an amp. Does anybody have this? Does anybody have that? I need this. Like there was nowhere to go. And think about social media. We take it for granted now, but if I'd had social media back in the day when I was doing that marketing way back when I was just out of college, oh my God, it wouldn't have been 62 million. It would have been 162 million. You could get to people. It's
Yeah.
old school, right? So he started this group. Patrick was part of that, and a few other people as well. And then Nikia, about within 10 years, realized Pat's the guy. He's the guy that has that really wonderful temperament and is a great listener and understands how to affect change. And he's very collaborative. He's not divisive and difficult. It doesn't, rub you the wrong way at all. He's a giant cream puff, but he will stomp on you if you get in his way and mess with his people, which is why I love him. I mean, he's just a great guy. So in 2019, they filed for a formal 501c3 status so that they could be a certifiable nonprofit, that they could receive support from the community to do the advocacy work, because it takes a lot of work. Unfortunately, they had a benefactor for quite a while, and in the last year, for legal reasons, the benefactor had to pull out just because the financial situation they were in.
Mhm.
And he's been buried doing his work, and now all of a sudden, okay, great, now we have to go raise money. So it's like a startup. It's like we're starting from scratch.
Okay. Okay. So that really tells a lot too, what you're in right now. So as you're moving forward as a fresh startup, what's like something that's been the most challenging for the company?
Where would you like me to start? No, honestly, it's bottom line, because Pat has been on the Hill lobbying and doing the advocacy work for so long. He hasn't had time to build up a team. So, yes, I'm coming on board, but guess what? I don't have anybody to help. We need people running social media. We need people doing the content. We need all of the stuff that I know that needs to get done from a strategic marketing perspective. we've got to get all the foundational setup going. And once that's going, then it'll hum right along, because it really is a lean business model. You don't need a lot of people to run this, but you
Mm-hmm.
do need people, and there have to be resources, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
would say immediately it's just a people problem. It's just and we don't have the funds to staff the people. So of course, until we can get the funds, it's the chicken and the egg, right? We've got to get the funds in the door so that we can hire some help. And it doesn't have to be full-time help. Part-time help is great. It's just consistency and being smart. Where are you putting that money? Oh, well, we're going to put it into a podcast so that the entire state of Texas can hear it and understand what's happening, and then they can contribute, and that they understand, because it's not just affecting Texas. I mean, Austin, it's affecting a lot of people statewide. So there's a lot of layers to this that we're going to fix. And I'm super excited about the opportunity in front of us. We're just a little tired.
Definitely. Well, let's kind of let's look at your like ideal, like your the people you're working with, your clients, the artists. Like if I was a great for if how would I know I'd be a great fit for you if I walked through your doors?
Well, for what I do, first of all, again, I came from B2B, but once I got to Austin, I started a small consultancy called Maven Marketing Solutions. And I had a partner, Tracy Nelson. She had been in Austin. She's a transplant as well, but she had been here quite a while with her husband and her kids. She came from B2C and brand licensing, and I came from B2B tech. And so together, it was a really nice compliment, because I learned a lot about branding and brand management through licensing, and how you're really, even though she came from fashion and Fila and Ralph Lauren and all of these brand names, she's protecting their brand, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so she taught me a lot about being, I call it a brand Nazi, but it's like, you're just like, you are on it. Is it in line with the values? Is it in line with the quality? All of these things. So, I think she and I were working together for about 7 or 8 years before she decided to retire and, sail off into the sunset and go travel the world, which is awesome. I still see her. She's around town. And by the way, she's a huge music aficionado. So she'd always give me a hard time because I didn't know half the people she was talking about. But since then, I continued, and I was surprised that my primary client base wasn't more niche. It was really all over the map, because the reality is, in marketing, it is so foundational, really basic. I call it the keep it simple, stupid approach, success
Mm-hmm.
approach, that if you can learn how to apply it with standard practices and really smart setup, technical setup, and not get distracted by the shiny new thing that's always coming around, and you really focus on your customer base, your clients, and what do they want, or your targets and what do they want, regardless if you're B2B or B2C, if you're listening well and you're educating them and what the differences are between your brand or your t-shirt or your company and your product or your service, and you remove barriers, the
Mm-hmm.
numbers don't lie. They respond to it. They know it's genuine. They know it's wholesome. They know they can count on you, and they will come to you. You'll elevate your company and your brand. So I would say anybody that's really needing to grow is ready for a strategic mind to come in and say, okay, where are you now? Like, you've already done some things, and where are you having issues? What are your opinions on this? And then any CMO should be saying, okay, let me listen to all of that. It's called discovery, and I'm going to go do a little research, and I'm going to come back to you, and then we're going to go over this with what I see from a strategist perspective, and where are the lowest hanging fruit for you? Where are these opportunities that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg? A good
Mm-hmm.
example of that would be, you've got some companies where, oh my God, SEO experts are the worst. They just, well, we'll do this and we'll get all these clickbacks. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, red flag, red flag. They're not
Mm-hmm.
getting it. And then now that the AI algorithms have kicked in, AI is looking for content. They're looking for, is there consistent content? Is there consistent keywords coming out? So when you really realize, oh, it's all boiling down to, are you educating and talking to your people? It organically elevates you. It organically gets in front of them. So you don't have to spend $20,000 a month on Google ads in a competitive space. Leveraging the tools that are already there and learning how to use them properly elevates you and saves you thousands of dollars. And by the way, a lot of these clients, when they want to grow, they're not necessarily ready for it. Oh, I want to be this $1 million I want to go from 10 to $25 million. Well, are you going to hire help to get there? Well, no, it's with the existing people and they're already maxed out.
Yeah.
So let's talk, right? Like,
Yeah. Honestly.
hi, I'm on Earth. What planet are you on? And no, it doesn't work that way. And that's unfortunate for me because I'm always the bad guy. But I'm the one that has to spill the beans and say, well, so if you want to grow, then you have to build in functional growth. And by the way, do you have any operating processes documented? Like, how are you doing? Like, how a lead comes in, how do you deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so and so takes the call. Uh-huh. So, and what happens when that person's out sick? And then all the automation that can happen so that you're more efficient and that you can shorten your sales cycle from 60 days to 10 days.
Yeah. That's
There's
math.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
They just, they're caught up in their own operations day to day. And so it's a fractional CMO's job to be able to go in there and really get them to step back from the forest a little bit and see through it and understand smart, simple, cost-effective ways to create that revenue, create that growth, not too quickly so that you can grow or your organization can grow with it in a healthy manner, and people aren't going to turn around and they're going to burn out, they're going to leave.
That's very true as growth happens. Now, kind of looking at with the music company. Now, who is the music company serving? Are you serving artists in the company, or like what's kind of the primary?
Yeah, so the primary initiative is to protect artists. So if you look at it, is a little confusing because of the existing branding, and we're going to be working on refining this a little bit better. But because it started as a group, as a literally a social group, Facebook group, the Austin, Texas musicians is this community. It's about right now there's about 6,000 members of the private group, and they're very tight and they help each other out, and it's lovely. Well, the nonprofit is designed as the Austin, Texas Musicians Fund. So if you do look it up in any of the databases, you will see the fund. Well, the fund is created to help support this community. That's the first thing. How are they supporting the community? Well, the first part of that is to support advocacy work, to send Patrick up on the hill to go argue with them and say, no, you're going to allocate the funds. Number one, he was instrumental in getting the whole live music fund set up to begin with. And it's the first one in the country. So they take a small percentage of hotel occupancy taxes for people that come into Austin. What are they coming in for? To listen to live music. And so then that goes into a fund. And then the city, the music, they have a department for arts and music. They oversee the fund. And then it's a grant process where the musicians and the venues, because it's not just musicians, it's both. They apply for a grant and say, hey, we need X amount of dollars to support infrastructure, or we've got to get something fixed so that our club can stay open, or we are going to be pulling together a new album and we need support to make that happen. So they submit their grants, the city reviews them, they meet all the criteria, great, and then they get an allocation of funds. Right now we're waiting on the 2025 allocation. There have been a lot of reorganization within this department. I get it. It's a lot of administrative, bureaucratic stuff that's got to get done. They're a little behind, but they're going to catch up. And the first allocation, which I believe was in 2023, was $8 million. So we're talking about a good, healthy amount of money that's supposed to be coming out every year, right? It's just that it's taken a while to really kind of get it off its feet. So the three pillars of the Austin, Texas Musicians Fund and the Austin, Texas Musicians Group are advocacy, education to help educate the musicians on sync licensing, on grant management, on, there's like, I think 24 topics that they really want to hear about. All of these areas are what Patrick has been lobbying for to create master classes for the Austin community. And then we're going to be moving that into online so that it isn't just Austin, so that people around the country, in fact, really around the world, can access it to understand how does this work. We have a really great local composer who's very successful at sync licensing. that's going to be teaching a series we're really excited about. And then we also have wellness classes and really personal coaching for musicians from another Wendy Colonna, the artist that I met 12 years ago with this ham jam project. She has
Yes,
since become a
yes.
certified coach for musicians, and it really came from a personal place. And she's also a musician. And so she's working with other groups like Lyric Culture and a couple others.
Mhm.
So we're trying to pull all these pieces together to offer them and, to the community so that they don't have to pay for it. And so we're trying to get out there and get sponsorships to help us just pay for the production of this, to offer
Mhm.
it to them. And then the third one is the economic development, which basically is the money that gets allocated from that live music fund to the venues to support them, to stay up and running, to support live music. And that's going to grow. And in my world, if I have my druthers, it's going to be upwards of $100 million a year, because we're going to get corporate sponsors plus the live music funds, from the people that are coming in. And we're going to let people that are visiting Austin know about this group, because nobody knows about them. They've been in stealth mode. Hey, would you like to, if you go buy a beer at the airport, you want to contribute a buck to the Austin, Texas Musicians Fund? Sure.
Yeah.
Add that up. Hello, Bueller, anyone? I mean, it's not rocket science. Everybody loves it. My friends that come in, they're like, yeah, of course, sure, because it all adds up. And then you get this big pot of money, and then all of a sudden we can contribute that to Sim, into Ham, into Home, and excuse me. I just excuse me. And to this, my God, I just Sonic Guild. I apologize. I choked and then I blurred.
No, this is
Sonic.
great.
So like Patrick refers to these core groups as kind of like the five families, like the core
Mhm.
foundational services for
Mhm.
Austin musicians and for the venues. But we have a vision of, we know what it could be. It's just
Mhm.
never been organized like this to support it, because we want to support people that are also working in the industry that are not musicians. Like if you think about the lighting and sound people,
Mm.
the venue workers,
Photographers, videographers, like,
yeah, they don't benefit from Hammer Sims,
yeah, there's
not
a
musicians, right? And so then they're struggling, and what's happening this year with the insurance industry. So, imagine if we can pull this group of this money together and then create a fund and just allocate it out every year. It's just like clockwork.
Mhm. Well, this is amazing. I definitely want to get involved, and I want to dive into a fun part of the Q&A now called our rapid fire, because I noticed we're kind of coming up on time. So I want to get to our
Sorry.
No, this is great. I absolutely love the support that you're bringing and awareness you're bringing to this community for musicians and beyond. So rapid fire Q&A, just answer very top of mind. They're going to be kind of business oriented questions. And starting with, what is a key to success for you?
Balance.
So,
Meaning, before I used to burn out doing putting all my time and all my energy into my client.
mhm,
And it's not sustainable. So if I can find a stronger balance, which COVID taught me to do, is carve out time for myself
mhm.
and stick to it and don't let anybody get in the way. It's hard, really hard.
Good.
But
Mhm,
it's a discipline, and it's really made a big difference. I mean, my husband and I have been together a long time, and I'd say coming out of COVID and the lessons that we both learned from how we take things for granted, and keeping your house in line and making sure that we have time for each other and time away and downtime. I try to really instill that with my clients as well, because I see them burning out too. And they kind of hate it because I'm kind of like the mother hen, but I'm just like, listen, I was on the phone with one of my clients and she had a stroke when we were on the phone. She was
Oh,
so
no.
stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that can, I'm never going to go through that again. She came out of it okay, but you got to learn. So I would say if you're balanced, then you're sharper and you're able to contribute uh, less time, more effectively. Really sharp, right
Definitely.
to it.
Definitely. I love that. Question number two is, what is a piece of advice you have for other folks in business?
Well, I guess it would depend on what kind of business, because there's a lot of things I don't know about other type of industries. But um, if you're going to go into business, you have to be willing to accept that you don't know everything. And you have to know what you do know and where you need help and to accept help. And when you can do that and understand that you can't do everything at once, like you have to have a goal of where you want to be, but you're not going to get that overnight. You have to be really realistic. And if you kind of map things out in a phased approach, you'll feel better that you are making progress. It's like if you go on a diet. Well, I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, great. That doesn't happen overnight, right? You have to give yourself time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of business owners, I think, they want to put the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah.
And you can't. You've got to really, really be objective, really be open, and admit what you do know and what you don't know, and surround yourself with people that know what you don't, and learn. They'll teach you. Get the right people around you.
Definitely. Question number 3 is it could be a book, a podcast, just any piece of content that's resonated with you.
Mel Robbins, I know everybody's going to talk about this. Mel Robbins has a book out, Let Them, and she also has an award-winning podcast. She's a tremendous person. I went through something very similar, much younger in life. The concept of just letting people be and letting them do their own thing. And I didn't know that I was being taught to try to control everybody. I mean, that was really how I was raised. And I'm also the oldest child. So with that comes some of those responsibilities. And when I listened to her speak, I've read her book. I'm just so glad she did it. She's helped so many friends of mine and so many family members because I couldn't articulate it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm reading it and listening to it, I was like, yeah, okay, that's exactly what I did. That's what changed my life. I came out of it. I was in 10 years, I was hit by head on 3 times, 3 different drunk drivers. And the fact that I'm vertical and I'm functional and I'm alive is amazing, right? So somebody up there really likes me, and I didn't want to waste it. And after that last one, I was like, okay, I'm cutting bait on everything. Anything that is not in my wheelhouse, gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not messing around anymore, right? And it's a mindset, and not to let these other people drag you down. Don't let other people's drama get in there and pull you down and get you in there with them, right? It's hard.
Yep.
It's a mental discipline, and it's really difficult to work through. So I would say that if anybody's listening to this and takes a minute, take a quick listen or pick up our book because it might be very helpful.
She's great. I saw her live once and it was amazing.
Oh, wow. No, well, she's got great, she's real. She's just,
Real. Mm-hmm.
this is what it is. And you don't have to have a degree. It's just the business of life and help other people. Let me save you 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do what I did. And here's an easier path to try. Give it a shot.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. 4th question is, this is a fun one. If I gave you a magic wand and you had the power to overnight improve one aspect of the business, of the music business, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't think artists are compensated properly for their time and their art. And I would like to see them compensated equally, both domestically and internationally. As an example, I just learned that if you have a song that a movie picks up and they air it domestically, you do not get compensated for that movie anytime it airs. You only get compensated if it's aired outside of the United States.
Really?
That is some capital BS right there. And personally, as soon as I understood this, and I'm just now scratching the surface, and I'm going to dig in. Brian Kelly, the sync licensing gentleman I was referring to, we're having this conversation. I said, okay, well, in 3 years, once ATXM is off and rocking, and Patrick is traveling the country and teaching these other cities how to do this, we're going after legal. We're going to fix this. That is not okay.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't even know.
Level of that. If any artists, whatever they're doing, wherever their art is, they should be compensated for it. We all benefit from it. And there are a lot of really dark things that go on in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just understanding some of them. And it's going to be my mission to kill all of them.
I love it. It's a great mission. I'm right there with you.
He's going to be like, marshmallow man coming in and stomping on, and I'd be like right behind him. Yeah. No, not okay.
Not
Not
okay.
okay.
I'm right there with you. Well, let's help make this mission happen. How can folks get connected with you and
Yeah.
the company online?
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of ways. If you go to awesometexasmusicians.org, poke around a little bit, you're going to see a lot of information about the different type of work, but you'll also learn on the blog how we connect all these dots between the advocacy, et cetera. And there are several different ways that everybody can contribute. You can contribute $10 a month and it adds up like crazy. You can go to
Mm.
your employers and say, hey, can you add them into the POS system so that if you round up, you want to donate to the Austin, Texas Musicians Fund. You can volunteer. We always need volunteer help. If you have a particular discipline that you love in your work and you'd like to offer it up, reach out. We've got a contact us form. We will respond really quickly. There are a lot of ways that you can help us. It's just imagine we're starting with just a few people and a really sweet board, and we need to grow. So we need all hands on deck. Whatever you've got, bring it.
Amazing. Mary, well, this has been such a great conversation for our final question today. What is most inspiring to you today?
Wow. Today, I would say the community just, uh, we're having our event tomorrow night. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me. We're having our event tomorrow night, our monthly mixer. And we put out a call and just said, hey, we've got to get our CPs going because the venue needs to staff it. And like, boom, it's craziness. Like this is such a tremendous community. Hey, we need help here. 5 minutes later, boom, done. It's great. I've never experienced anything like it. Austin is very special.
I agree. Well, that's so inspiring to me too. Thank you for the work you're doing and thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you so much.